according to my maths, you're one of just 8 black managers in the Football League, which is crazy, isn't it? So, how does that make you feel in terms of why aren't there more?
Don't know. I think the ratio is like you just said there. It's not right. Whether there is a bias or not, I'm not too sure. I think there's a lot they're trying to do now. I think it's good, but as long as it doesn't undermine the coaches, you know. And I think some of the ways that they go about placing the black coaches, I think sometimes undermines the black coaches. There are plenty out there that are easily good enough. And it's just about trying to, you know, all you want to do is work as hard as you can and be given an opportunity if you're good enough. And, you know, I've been given an opportunity, which is good, and time will tell whether I'm good enough. But like you said there's a lot of coaches that are working in academies which are easily good enough. It's just about the opportunities they need.
Yeah, and you've been given a fantastic opportunity here at a really progressive club. Are you proud that you've been given that opportunity, and you're a role model really for other black coaches, aren't you?
I think, yeah, there's a few obviously that have come before me. Obviously, you know, the Chris Hutons and the Chrissy Powells, who's at England now, who I know and played with, and you know, Chris Ramsey and people like that were definitely doing it way before me. But I feel proud. Yeah, I feel proud. I also feel like I've earned the opportunity as well. I don't think I've done it the easy way. I think, you know, I've worked in the academies but I've worked for under 14s and under 16s and worked at 9 o'clock at night. This is when I first started out. Then obviously the Watford role was the 23s as an assistant and worked there, and I've worked into the first team for a year with Nigel Pearson and Craig Shakespeare and really got to see a good look at it there, and then obviously come here as an assistant manager in League Two. So I've done it the hard way, you know, and I felt I needed to do that, and like you say, it's brilliant to be given the opportunity and the chance to have a real good go at it. But you know, I know how fickle football is. I know as soon as the results start going the opposite way, then it'll be tough and stick will be getting thrown our way. But you know, it's part of the job, so to say.
I mean, this is quite a difficult question, but you're looking at your journey. Has there ever been a point where race has stopped you getting a job, do you think?
I wouldn't say race has stopped me getting a job. No, I think. And I can just speak for myself. I think the path that I took was with some real forward-thinking clubs. I mean, Brentford was the first club I started at, and they're really progressive and forward-thinking, quite diverse in London. I don't know if it's different, you know, being in London, but it's really diverse. And Watford was similar. They were just starting up their 23s. I knew Harry Kewell. I haven't been for many jobs. I haven't had many interviews and bits and pieces, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if, you know, from my personal experience, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that probably feel that's the way, which is a shame. I don't think it should come down to race at all. I think it should come down to how good you are and how well you fit the role that they're looking for. And like I said, I think I've done my work, and you know, I've worked quite hard. And there's people out there that have done a lot more years than me that, you know, I'm sure they feel that they deserve a chance as well. But it's all about, you know, earning your right really. And trying to get a chance, but from personal experience, I can only talk from personal experience.
And you mentioned Chris Powell earlier in the interview, and he's one that's now part of the England setup, which is great to see, isn't it? And you know, steps like that, is that a good sign that actually things are starting to change and maybe attitudes are starting to change?
Yeah, I think so. I think when you see a black face on the coaching team, it's good. You know, you can identify, you can recognise. You see Chris there, and he's a big part of Gareth's team, which is fantastic. And you know, he's opening up a pathway for a lot of coaches. You know, myself, Alex as well, who's worked with Chris Powell quite closely, and people, you know, like Chris Hughton out there, who's a fantastic manager. You know, he's a top manager, and he's worked at a fantastic level as well. But yeah, some fantastic coaches out there, people that you can lean on. You know, not just the coaches that are working. There's guys who are not working that you know can help you. And it's just about, you know, giving an equal opportunity. If you can get the opportunity, you can only show what you can do, and we just hope that's changing at the moment.
Yeah, I need to ask you about the Saka, Sancho, Rashford abuse, and also Lewis Hamilton today has been racially abused as well. I mean,
okay.
What's your stance on that, and how on earth do we tackle that?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's sickening really when you see the abuse that they have to suffer. It's embarrassing that, you know, we're in this day and age And especially a young kid like Saka, who'd been brilliant up until that point. I mean, he even surprised me that he played the amount of games he played in the Euros, because I thought he was just going to be taken as experience. But he was one of our best players in a couple of the games that he played, you know. And for him to get the abuse for his colour because he's missed a spot kick is embarrassing, really. It's sickening to think that people are still out there and think that it's still the way to behave, you know. It's not right. And something does need to be done, you know, to protect these lads, because mentally, no matter what they say to you, they'll be sitting at home, and I can guarantee that young Saka, every time he goes out just to go to a coffee shop, or if he wants to pop out to the shops, he'll always have that thing looking round at the back, wondering whether people are judging him, and he is that person who missed that spot kick, and it's not right, you know. He's gone to work, he's tried to do his best, he's missed a penalty. And for Marcus Rashford and people like that, they're big enough players, but I'm telling you now, they're at home, they will suffer just like anyone else, you know. It's easy for them to turn around and say, yeah, we brush it off, but it's not right. It's mental abuse, it's sickening racial abuse as well, and some of the things that are going around there's no place for it. So, you know, I just hope that we can get to a point in a situation where these things don't happen again.
Completely agree. A final question really is, will we ever get to a point where someone's ethnicity, someone's race isn't actually a story, and you know there's a more even ratio of black coaches? Well,
you'd like to think so, yeah. You'd like to think so. I don't ever want to stand here and just say, you know, black coaches should just be there for the sake of their making up a ratio. I think black coaches or white coaches or Asian coaches, whoever it is, should be there because, you know, they're good enough, and that's, you know, all I ask for is that they, you know, some of them get the opportunity that they deserve, and if they're good enough, then they'll take it. I'm sure they will. But you're right, though. Over the years, I'm sure that they weren't giving you the equal opportunity like they should have been. That should have been happening. I think now, where there's an eye on it now, and people are not afraid to talk about it anymore. I mean, you talking to me about this subject, I think 5 years ago we wouldn't have this conversation. It would kind of just be pushed aside and brushed under, and people wouldn't bring it up because it's embarrassing or they don't like talking about it. But us having this conversation is good. It's bringing it to light, and things have changed for the better. There are still some bits that are, you know, utterly disgusting, like we just spoke about, the abuse, the online abuse. But things are changing, and the more we talk about it and the more we kind of front it up, the better it would be.
It depends how you look at it. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be in the game since I retired. You know, I went and done my coaching badges. I started off as a fitness coach and working with the youth team with Tony Carr at West Ham, and then got the opportunity to do my badge and do the reserve team. And then from there, I just carried on, and I've been very fortunate in my career to have people in good positions who's offered me a job. You know, so it's a difficult one. I'm not blind to it, and I know there is discrimination in the world and in the game, and sometimes people are hardened from it, you know, and sometimes they won't do the right things and maybe go and do the badge because they don't see the pathway. But I always had the attitude is if I do the badges, then it's nothing to do with me. Do you know what I mean? Like I always said, I can't blame. I can't change no one's mind if they don't like me for the colour of my skin. That's their business. That's nothing to do with me. I'm proud to be a black man. I'm proud to be in the game. I'm proud to have a good career. And I'll do the best I can, whoever hires me. But I understand that there is a lot in the game when people not getting the right chances. I know that. But I've been one of the fortunate ones to be lucky enough to be in the game, knowing that Chrissy Powell got the manager's job, so he asked me to be his assistant, so I was lucky and to work with him, you know, a good manager. And then to work with Clarkey again, you know, took me to another level again. And then get the opportunity at Kilmarnock to be manager, which was a big thing. So people, I don't know whether they trust and like me, and I do the job to a certain standard that they give me a go. But I know that I'm one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, you are one of the lucky ones, but you've earned your role.
Yeah, definite.
But I was talking to Hayden, and according to my maths, I might be wrong, but there's only 8 black managers in the entire Football League that I can count. Can you put your finger on why that is and what we do about it?
I mean, look, first of all, you know, the people above us, whoever is in them positions, have to look. No one wants to be given a job because of the colour of their skin, and that's just my personal opinion. I think you got to earn the right, and that means whether you're white, black, green, whatever. You got to earn the right. And if you do the right things and work hard, then you know you should be given the opportunity to apply your trade. And like I said before, I can't do anything about it if someone in a high position don't want to give me a job because they don't like the colour of my skin. I can't do anything about that. You know, it's not right, and that's just life in general. You know, when it's not a fair playing field. We know that it should be, but it's not. So, but I always say, look, if I get my badges, then they can't not give me a job because I'm not qualified for it. Do you know what I mean? If they don't want to give it to me because I'm black, then that's their business, and I'll go on and do something else. And that's the way it is. But we want to change it. We're trying to change, you know. But you know, you need a lot more of the minority, as so we should say, in prominent positions, so then you can see, you know, and feed it down. Because the ones in power now, they're in power and they don't really care. You know, they try. Some are trying. I would say that not everybody, but some are trying, and some it's just something to tick a box. You know, so all we want is fairness. Fairness is, you know, if you're good enough to do the job, give someone an opportunity to do the job.
Yeah. You and Hayden, you're a black management team, which is that's a real rarity. So do you kind of feel like you're role models really for aspiring black coaches, because you're in a really good job here, and you're a success story, and does that make you feel proud?
Yeah, of course it does. Of course it does. It's first of all, I'm proud, and I'm happy out working at this football club. I'm happy that I'm working with Hayden because he's a good man. I've known him for a long while, and I know he's a good person. And all I want to do is work with good people. You know, I want to be able to come in every day and know that the training's good, the environment's good, and then that gives us a better chance to have success. But yeah, we are two managers, but we are two black men who just want to do the job to the best of their ability.
Can I ask you about the Sancho, Rashford and Saka abuse? I mean, it was appalling, wasn't it? And also Lewis Hamilton's got online abuse today after his win yesterday. I mean, what do you make of that, and how on earth do we start tackling that sort of thing as well?
Well, you're never good. For me personally, it ain't going to change. I'm not going to stand there and say, you know, it will change, because it won't. I've been in this game a long time, and it's not changed. And it's not just about football; it's about society in general. But because we're in a prominent position, that we'll get it. But for the people out on the street who every day will get it, and it won't even get mentioned. But because we're in a position to put it, it's been put out there, so everyone's going to think it's just about football, but it's not. It's about the normal people, the general public who get it every day when they go to work, you know. And at the end of the day, look, it's not going to change. You know, social media should do more, but they don't. You know, people in the big positions should do more, but they don't. Prime Minister should do more, but they don't. So what can you do? You know, you're either going to stand back and don't go on social media, and then they win. Or my generation, I'm not on social media, so I don't care. Do you know what I mean? They still find another way to do it. You know, they write letters or whatever they do, but you know, it's not going to change. And I'm sorry to say that, but it ain't going to change. You know.
It's so depressing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's depressing.
It really is.
You know what I mean? You just carry on with your life. You do the best you can. You don't let them beat you. You know, them boys who miss the penalties, it don't matter. We get up, we go again, and that's where it's got to be. You know, I know it's not as easy as what I'm saying it, but you have to. You can't let the bigots win. You have to be, and the racism, you can't let it beat you. You have to get up, you get your head down, and you stick your chest out, and you go again, and you don't let them win, and that's all you can do.
Fantastic. I asked the same final question to Hayden, but do you think we'll ever get to a point where this conversation isn't a conversation, if you know what I mean, and ethnicity isn't a factor, and we get a decent ratio of black managers like it should be? Because the population says there should be more, shouldn't there?
It should be, but no. That we will always have this conversation for now anyway. I can't see it changing. and probably not in my lifetime. And it's kind of sad me saying it, but it's just the way it is. Do you know what I mean? It was happening worse when I started in the game in the 80s. You know, that people would, we say it was worse, you know, people would say more to your face. Now they can hide behind the screen. So let's say nothing much has changed. And it's sad to say it, but that's where it is. So, you know, we covering up and say, oh, we've come a long way. Certain things we have, but certain things we haven't. But I still love the game, I still love people, and that won't change.